remember, redefining terms is a Hegelian dialectic, and we watched that in Hitler, and, you and I started screaming when they started talking about Homeland Security. By the way, wasn't it just last week that Homeland Security supposedly had done penance for their identifying all of the terrorists, and now they're back up in full force again, and guess who's on the list? Everybody was on the list before. Now, Alex, here we may be close to this, a timing issue before you and I have to say goodbye today. The idea of the timing, it looks like October, November is the time period. I just got an email in. You need to hear this. The Louisiana State Police are doing explosive ordnance device training. They're running classes right now for all their parishes. The policeman in this class told me they're getting ready to raise the terror alert, looking at some weird United Nations camera vehicle group on I-20 in Mississippi at this point. And the guy said, thank you, Frank. He's saying, I'm trying to get pictures. So the thing is, look, we come out, we speak about the vaccination, they say, okay, we'll just go to the next thing. We identify the next thing. They just go to the next thing. These people are not without plan D, E, F, G if we expose A, B, C. But it still puts people into the same position. They have got to make sure that if they could not go to a store for 30 days, they could stay where they're at. By the way, our governor just made a statement, I guess, today that he's not going to allow anybody with federal authority to take away the guns, the food, or the state rights that we possess and we intend to stand with. So, again, we've got a very outspoken state governor. People are asking me, will succession succeed? No. We're going to be balkanized. The only question is, will enough people be gotten out of harm's way in time?
Steve, that's another nexus point. Your governor said you're going to manufacture guns in the state outside federal control. Northcom out of Colorado said we're not going to allow that. And then now Obama's come in with Justice Department letters threatening the states, threatening them with the John Warner Defense Authorization Act that stated Homeland Security is to block governors and legislatures. So that's what this is a major federalized, internationalized cancer probe that they've put in to this town.
Absolutely, Alex. And one of the things I've got to tell everybody, you've got to understand, and those of you who are Christians have got to you've got to pray for the people who are absolutely in state office that are standing up in federal office, because, look, they have assassination teams, just like the old video series America. You remember where the Russians took out all of Congress and the Senate? Well, these guys got the same plan. Anybody that doesn't go along, they either pay them off or they blow them away.
Or set them up. And they made that show with Chris Christopherson off of real plans that have been drawn up, but instead of Russians doing it, it's this international corporate takeover. And just like Operation Valkyrie was used against Hitler, they're going to use the continuity of government grid as their playbook and cover to take over. Steve, I want to jam in a few final calls. I'll continue with the calls after you leave us. Up next here is, let's talk to Diane in Montana. Diane in Montana, where this is going on. But as Steve said, it's happening everywhere. Diane, what's your info?
Okay, September 9th. Steve, I don't know if you'll remember me from Superior, Montana, which is about 50 miles west of Missoula.
Right.
We had a small incident where there was a bunch of SUVs, black Hummers, you name it. It was all there. They even brought a helicopter in. It was 4 miles from my home. So when we went to check it out, there was a husband that went down there and talked to them personally. They were all over climbing the mountains in camo, dressed up. They were armed, and they said they were just doing a training exercise. Called the sheriff's office, and we got the same story. It's just FBI training, but it was FEMA. Right in Superior. And we're probably about maybe 4,000 population.
Well, I need everybody in the area to get cameras. They're very cheap now, video cameras, for as cheap as $100 that shoot decent quality. Everybody needs to be shooting this and uploading it to YouTube. Steve Quayle.
Well, I think, that's obvious. And as we're talking, Alex, I think that people need to become eyes and ears and email you stuff in real time and make, put video important of stuff. Don't just, go out and just take dormant military vehicles, but vehicles that are in motion, like the report we just got. And let me share this, too. People have got to stay stay up on this. You know, there are reports of sailors being vaccinated. I stated, and this is critical for people to understand, you guys in the Pentagon, shame on you. I stated that the easiest way to deal with America before a full-scale assault in this country was to poison the vaccines and then let them be tested on servicemen. And because of this is a matter of national security, Alex, big time, we're not going to get any true reports.
And now we're hearing Bob Chapman's confirmed with his sources, and he's always been accurate, that they're dying on the ships, not just quarantining them.
Well, absolutely. And see, this is the thing, too, that people have got to understand, that we have a specific concern out there for whatever it's going to be. They're going to initially utilize the H1N1, H5N1, whatever else they come up with. But the idea is this, is to scare you. And if we provide the information, Alex, and God bless you for what you do, all the different information, that should be an antidote for fear, because that's what we're talking about.
All right, let me ask Diane in closing, what did the locals think, and how many FBI, FEMA troops were there?
Okay, there were 6 vehicles when my husband went right by them. He called back and said, lock down. I don't know what's going on, if there's escaped prisoners or what. Same time, helicopter came through, right overhead. Called his secretary, who was coming in on I-90, told her to check that area out and look at it, and that's when she saw all the camo guys all over the mountainside just crawling up. Asked around town, people didn't think anything about it.
Yeah, this is insane. They're definitely probing and testing. Thank you so much, Diane. Let's cram in another call here. Let's talk to Jeremy in Alaska. Jeremy, what's your intel?
How you doing, Alex?
Hey, buddy.
Actually, I'm a sovereign. I'm in Alaska. I want to commend you on the work that you've done, sir. You're not responsible for waking me up, but you're definitely one of the people that kept me awake. I've been studying law over the last year, and I'm from lieutenant colonel in the Marines for 35 years, and also some other people that are international attorneys. And from what I'm understanding, is there's this NAFTA free trade agreement.
Yes, and under that they have a military sharing agreements, 2002, 2008, to occupy the U.S. with foreign troops. That is mainstream announcement. Steve Quayle.
Well, and again, that's absolutely correct. And I think everybody's got to understand this by putting us into a level 6 bio-emergency under the World Health Organization. In essence, who just got appointed head of the United Nations Security Council for the first time? The President of the United States. Putting it all together, Alex, I don't believe there is a more totalitarian, more disconcerting picture of the partitioning off, the selling off, the giving off, the pirating off of the United States, its assets and its people. And by the way, the numbers that they're talking about, 50 million people, that's the minimum amount of people that the globalists want to kill. They actually want... All right,
Steve Quayle, we will get a report from you tomorrow. Can you join us again tomorrow?
Yes, I can. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you. This is a confirmed FEMA camp. The locals are being secretive about it, but we found an earlier newscast from April of this year out of KULR 8 News, Emily Natz. Here it is.
Potential for detaining terror suspects at the empty Two Rivers detention facility in Hardin has Montana congressional delegation speaking out.
I'm against it. I don't think it's a good idea. It's too much of a security risk. I don't think we want to have Al-Qaeda prisoners in Montana. It's a security risk that I don't think we want to have.
However, Senators Max Baucus and John Tester and Representative Denny Rehberg say they do support the jail in finding viable contracts. Tuesday, Hardin City Council gave Two Rivers Detention Center officials the green light to pursue a contract to accept Gitmo prisoners. President Barack Obama has said he plans to close Guantanamo by next January. Jail officials say their facility is secure enough to hold the terror suspects.
We understand this is a long shot at best. And really what we're asking for them is just to come out and take a look at our situation and see if it would fit for them.
The U.S. Justice Department says right now the Gitmo Detainee Review Task Force is determining whether each prisoner will be prosecuted or sent overseas.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is that facility. Now, they have another Supermax that's closed in Montana. They say they're going to hold people in. including U.S. citizens.